insulation, but in between the Schwann cells you have tiny spots. Those are uncovered, and these open spots are called nodes of Ranvier. Okay, nodes of Ranvier. Those are uncovered spots between the Schwann cells. Okay. Now, which way the electrical signal travels? The electrical signal is unidirectional. Uni means what? Uni means what? One direction, right? So, dendrites bring the signal into the cell body, and cell body processes and sends signal out through the axon. So, that is the direction of electrical signal. Dendrites bring in, right, the signal into the cell body, and axon takes the signal out from the cell body. Is it clear? Unidirection. The area here where the axon starts from the cell body, this area is called hillock. Axon hillock. Axon hillock. The area where the axon starts from the cell body. Okay. So this is the structure of a typical neuron. Is it clear? So if I ask you to draw and show different parts of a neuron, typical neuron, these are the parts you will show. So it has, what is this? Cell body, right? Inside the cell body, of course, you have a nucleus, and in the cytoplasm, you have missile bodies. Okay? Short, multiple branching processes are called what? Dendrites. Is it clear? Long single process is called axon. End of axon is called what? Axon terminal. And at the end of the terminal, you have what?
Terminal buttons.
Okay. And in peripheral nervous system, who gives the insulation?
Schwann cells.
Schwann cells, right? In between the Schwann cells, the uncovered spots are called what? Nodes of Ranvier. Okay? And the area where the axon starts from the cell body, that is called what? Axon hill. Is it clear? So, and the direction is unidirectional. Dendrites bring the signal into the cell body, and axon takes the signal out of the cell body. Okay? So here you see a typical neuron. Now, neurons are connected to each other. So this is another neuron, dendrites. Okay, so these are dendrites. Another neuron, next neuron, this one. So you see that axon terminal gives signal to the dendrites of next neuron, and this is the synapse where the axon terminal gives signal to the dendrites of next neuron. So that is called a synapse. And dendrites of next neuron bring the signal in, because dendrites always bring the signal into the cell body, and then signal gets out this way. Okay? So that's how the neurons are connected, right? And one neuron is giving to a signal to the next neuron. Okay? And the area where they talk to each other, that is a synapse. One very important thing happens here. Okay? Axon terminals release chemicals here, because you see there is a gap. So these chemicals are released here. Those chemicals are called what? Neurotransmitters. Very important, right? Chemicals, neurotransmitters. neurotransmitters are released at the synapses. Is it clear? Released at the synapses. You are learning all everything about the nervous system, the basic stuff, right? Very important. Okay. Gray matter, white matter. If you cut the brain or the spinal cord, clearly, without microscope, you'll see some white colored areas and gray colored areas, okay? Without microscope, if you cut, you'll see. And white areas are called white matter and gray areas are called gray matter. Now, why? You have two different colors. This is gray matter, this is white matter. Now, if you see the gray matter under the microscope, what you'll see many cell bodies. These are dendrites, axon, axon, axon. Okay, so in gray matter part, you will see many cell bodies and dendrites. Is it clear? In gray matter, you will see many cell bodies and dendrites. And in white matter, you will see what? Many axons. Is it clear? These are the axons, right? So now you know inside the cell body you have what? Dark granules, right? Those are called Nissl bodies. Remember that? So now think that inside these cell bodies you have Nissl granules or Nissl bodies. And in this area, axons are covered by white myelin sheet. Remember the myelin, white myelin sheet. All these axons are covered by white myelin sheet. So now you tell me, since these axons are covered by white myelin sheet, right? This area will look what?
White.
White. Is it clear? And since in this area you have many cell bodies, right? And those have granules, the color is gray. So that's the reason why you see gray matter and white matter. Okay? So if I ask you the test, in gray matter you will find what? You will find many cell bodies, right? And dendrites. In white matter you will see myelinated axons together. Types of neurons. We divide the neurons into three types. Multipolar, which is the most common type. This is a multipolar neuron that I showed you, typical, because I told you typical, that means most of the neurons are like this. This is multipolar. Also, we have bipolar and unipolar neurons. Very simple. If you see a multipolar neuron that I showed you here, this is the multipolar neuron, multiple dendrites and single axon, multipolar. If you see a bipolar, it has only one dendrite and one axon. Okay, so two, bi means two, one dendrite, one axon. Dendrite has many branches, but that doesn't need many dendrites. Only one dendrite. Okay. Now, unipolar, only one axon, no dendrite. Now, what happens in most of the cases, the cell body is attached to the side of the axon. So this is actually one single axon. You see here, this is a single axon. Same, single axon. no dendrite. And cell body is not at the end, attached somewhere to the axon. So this is uni, this is bi, this is multi. Okay. And most of the neurons are multipolar type neurons. That means many dendrites and one axon. Here you see these are multipolar because single axon, many dendrites. Single axon, many dendrites. So multipolar. Bipolar, you see one dendrite. These are the branches of dendrite. So one dendrite, one axon. One dendrite, one axon. Okay. This is unipolar. This is the single axon. See axon. Okay. Synapse. I have already shown you a synapse here, right? Axon terminal and dendrite of next neuron. Where they talk to each other, that area is the synapse. Now, synapse could be two types. You already know, you remember last class, I told you, this is the neuron, axon terminal, and this is the muscle fiber, neuromuscular junction, remember that? Neuromuscular junction. So, axon ends on the muscle fiber. So, this is a synapse that you learned in last class. So, between neuron and muscle, neuromuscular junction. This is a synapse. Two. So, there are two types of synapse. You see, neuron to neuron and neuron to what? Muscle. Is it clear? So, neuron to muscle is neuromuscular junction. And you already know acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter released here, SCH, for neuron to muscle. And from neuron to neuron, here, many different types of neurotransmitters are released, depending on which synapse you are talking about. Some are excitatory, some are inhibitory. I'm not going into detail, you know, if I want to talk about these neuroscience things, it's difficult to stop. My field is neuroscience, right? So so I should not talk too much. Reflexes. So reflexes are autonomic or involuntary responses to a stimulus. I'm repeating again. Reflex is an autonomic or involuntary response to a stimulus. Now, if you see something scary, I'm giving same example. If you see something scary, what happens? Your heart rate goes up, right? So, you don't do it. It is autonomic, right? So, that is a reflex. Make sense? When you see delicious food, what happens in your mouth? Salivation, right? Salivary secretion, right? So, that is also a reflex because you are not doing it, right? Involuntary response to a stimulus. Now, in this case, who is the stimulus? When you see something delicious, the food is the stimulus, right? Food is the, you need to know it. Who is the stimulus? Food, right? So, food is the stimulus that causes involuntary response, right? And that is a reflex. Now, you know, knee jerk, you know, patellar reflex. When you go to doctor, hits here, right? What happens? Your leg kicks forward, right? Suddenly like this. That is knee jerk reflex or patellar reflex. You don't do that, right? If you do it voluntarily, we will not accept that, right? It has to be what? Involuntary. Make sense? You cannot do intentional. So, I'm repeating again. Reflex is an involuntary or autonomic response to a stimulus, right? If I put flashlight on your eye, what happens to your pupil?
It
constriction, right? So that is a reflex, right? That is a reflex. You don't do it, it happens, right? So we do test the reflex to make sure your nervous system is working fine. Make sense? That's why, you know, if somebody is taken to the hospital like unconscious, doctor will put flashlight, right, to see if the brain is working, right? If the pupil is constricting, his reflex is present, right? Knee-jerk test. We want to make sure that your brain and the spinal cord is working. Okay. So now, a reflex must have three important things to be a reflex. One is the response should be what? Voluntary or involuntary?
Involuntary.
Involuntary, right? And the response should be fast or slow?
Fast.
Very fast, right? Quick. Make sense? And number three is same way. The response should be same way every time you present it. If, you know, I put flashlight on your eye, your pupil constrict, right? If I put again, your pupil will again what? Constrict. It will not dilate, right? Every time it will give same response, right? So three important properties of a reflex. Number one is what? The response must be involuntary. Number two, must be quick or slow? Quick, very fast, right? And same way it should respond. Repeated. Same response is repeated. So if I ask you in your test, what are the three properties of a reflex? Those are the three properties. Now the last thing is the pathway of the reflex is called the reflex arc. The pathway of reflex is the reflex arc. Now this is your leg. Okay, this is the leg. This is the patellar ligament, right? You hit here on the ligament. Okay, you know it. So you have the receptors here. So when you hit, the receptors are activated, okay? And the signal goes to the central nervous system, your spinal cord. And from there, the signal comes back to the muscles. You have the leg muscles here. Okay, leg muscles to move. To move, you need the muscles. You know that. Okay. So receptors are here on the ligament. Receptors are activated by that, you know, pressure, and this is sensory input. Here integration, you already know, motor output, and the muscle is the effector.
Which one's the integration center?
Central nervous system integration, right? You already know, we have talked about that, right? Central nervous system integrates. Okay. So a reflex has 5 components. Receptors, number 1, sensory inputs, sensory input, number 2, integration, number 3, integration, number 3, motor output, you already know this, motor output, number 4, and effector is the last one that performs the action. That's the number 5. So effectors perform the action. In this case, the action is the movement. Okay. In this case, the action is movement. Okay. So those are the 5 components or parts of a reflex arc. Receptors, sensory inputs, integration, motor outputs, and effector. Okay. So I think that's the first one. Okay. So let's stop here. Okay. Do you have any question? Can ask me. It's an interesting topic. This is very, you know, neuroscience is the most complicated, right? Most complex field.
My favorite.
But you know, it's also very interesting. So if you learn